warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of GDG Campus Visit and Codecell Plus Tinkerers of the Computer Engineering Department, it gives us immense pleasure to welcome you to the Flutter and Firebase workshop. This workshop has been designed to give you hands-on exposure to cross-platform app development and powerful backend integration using some of the most in-demand Google technologies today. Whether you are a beginner exploring app development or someone looking to strengthen your technical skill set, this session will offer you valuable insights and practical learning. Today, we are extremely privileged to have with us an accomplished industry expert. It is my honor to introduce Mr. Abhishek Doshi, sir, a Google developer expert for Dart, Flutter, and Firebase. He brings with him over 7 years of experience in building scalable applications using Flutter and Firebase and is currently working as a tech lead at a US based health tech company. As a Google developer expert, he actively contributes to the developer community by mentoring developers and sharing best practices across the globe. So, welcome Abhishek sir, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Hey everyone. Let me just share my screen. I cannot share my screen. Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect. So hey everyone. I hope everyone's not sleepy like me because I am. How many of you have already learned Flutter or heard the name of the Flutter or have tried Flutter or Firebase? You can even unmute yourself and say like this is just going to be a friendly session. I don't want you to stay muted. You can stay unmuted in the entire session as well. You can interrupt
I've
me in
tried
the session.
Flutter. Oh, sorry.
Go on, go on.
Saying that I've used Flutter in one of the workshops by one of the clubs in our college. In
Mm-hmm.
Cursor AI, I've used to make our attendance app using Flutter Dart,
Oh, nice.
and we have integrated Supabase backend for that. But I'm
Okay.
really eager to learn Firebase in this session.
Yeah, so Superbase and Firebase is kind of similar, you can say, because Superbase is an SQL, something related to SQL database, but Firebase provides you completely no SQL. Anyone else who has tried out Flutter, Firebase, any apps that you built with Flutter, maybe?
I was trying to make the project of TextPrint with Flutter, but it really got complicated and I quit using Flutter for that.
Possible. Anyone else? Any use cases?
Me and my team are using Flutter for making our text print hackathon project,
Okay.
and we are currently new to it, so we are taking help from Gemini and all. But it's like kindly happy and exciting to learn something new about use
Mm-hmm.
case.
Nice. Anyone else? Okay. So there are many people who have tried it, many people who tried and got bored of it or skipped it from between. So let's see how it goes today because I'm completely not prepared for the session. I found the slides just 15 minutes before the session, when we get that calendar invite reminder. So I found the slides at that time. So I was completely not prepared because of the weekday. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So I have been working in, let me first find my cursor. Yeah, I've been working in Flutter and Firebase since past 7 years. And I'm a Google developer expert for Dart, Flutter, and Firebase since past 5 years. I started Flutter in 2018 when it was in beta. And I'm also the founder of Zeth Technology. It's a small, very small uh, tech studio, you can say, where we try to help clients convert their idea into real life projects. And I also work at a US based health tech company called Quinn. We work in women health, and yeah, we have not launched in India yet, but we are soon planning to. So if anyone else has interest in women health, feel free to reach out to me on that as well. So कैसे हैं आप लोग? How are you doing? How is your day going? You guys have holidays right now, right? Yeah, so probably enjoy your holidays, because once you come to corporate, you don't get holidays. So Flutter and Firebase is considered very good friends, not because both are developed with Google, but because Firebase provides built-in ready-made SDK for Flutter apps, so you can just call the function and do your things, which is why Flutter and Firebase are considered very good friends. Do you know the name of this two mascot? This is for Flutter and this is for Firebase. Does anyone know names of them? Anyone? तुक्का मारोगे तो भी चलेगा.
It more
Dash
to
and
ideal.
Sparky.
Yeah, Dash and Sparky. So this is Dash and this is Sparky. You might find Dash somewhere in Flutter events, but you might rarely find a Sparky with anyone, because Sparky, only Googlers usually carry Sparky. Luckily, I have one. So moving forward, what exactly is Flutter? So those who don't know Flutter at all or haven't heard of Flutter, a straightforward definition is that it's a cross-platform web development framework developed by Google. So how many of you know that Flutter and Firebase both originally was not developed by Google? That's right. Flutter and Firebase both were not developed by Google. Both are someone else's product. They started it and then Flutter acquired them. Those who tried out Flutter, do you know what was the original name of Flutter?
Sky.
Yes, the Flutter's first version, or when it was originally built, it was named as Sky, and then when Google acquired it, they changed it to Flutter. So yeah, Flutter was originally not built by Google. It was some other engineers who built Flutter and Firebase, and then Google acquired it. So yeah, Flutter is a cross-platform app development framework developed by Google. You can say that because only first version was developed by someone else. It's completely open source, which means that you can go inside the Flutter engine, see how it works, see how a particular widget is rendered, etc. You can even change things locally and do everything that you want. So you have the entire control over the source code. Everything in Flutter is a widget, so whoever is from a web development background, in web development HTML, we have tags like div tag, p, center, image, etc. Same way, we have widgets in Flutter. So you can say that every small element or every smallest part of UI is a widget in Flutter. It has very large community support and it's growing a lot. Even if you, for example, if you are working on Flutter and you face any issues, you can just put it on Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., and you might get your answer. So that's how community support is, and easy to use. So this is kind of conflicting. It's easy if you are from a oops language background, like if you know C++, Java, etc. Then it's very easy to use for you. If you are from web development background, it might be a bit difficult. You can also switch to React Native, completely fine. But if you are from app development background, like native Android, native iOS, or Java, C++, then Flutter becomes very easy to use for you. With Flutter, you can write code for mobile, web, desktop, embedded, which means Android, iOS, web, Mac OS, Windows, Linux, embedded, Fuchsia OS, TV OS. I guess that's it. So yeah, Watch OS. So more than 6 platforms are supported by Flutter. So you write code once and you can run that code on all the platforms that I mentioned, which means you just have to maintain a single code base compared to, if you go to native development, you will have to maintain multiple code bases in different languages. So it's very good, right? Because assume that you have your own product launched, then, and if you plan to, go with native, it means you will have to have a team for Android, a team for iOS, a team for web, etc., etc., etc. But with cross-platform development, uh, you can just hire a team for one particular language, and that team can launch your product on all the platforms. So that's the beauty of cross-platform. So development with Flutter is fast, beautiful, and productive. Well, fast because you just have to maintain a single code base. Beautiful because it supports all native components as well. Like for example, if you go to iOS, like if you use iPhone, you are very accustomed to your search bar, right? So the same UI can be done with Flutter as well. Same way on Android, search bar is different. So you can also do it like in Android, you can show a different search bar. In iOS, you can show a different search bar. Best example is switch. So we have switches for, on off toggle switch. So in iOS and Android, it looks completely different. So you can usually do that with Flutter. Productive because you just have to maintain a single code base. So it becomes very fast and productive to develop with Flutter. So you might have already seen prerequisites for Flutter. First is OOPS language, as I said, because all the OOPS concepts are being used in Flutter. So OOPS concepts becomes very, very important. Dart is the language that is being used by Flutter. So for example, JavaScript is used with React. Same way Dart is used with Flutter. Flutter uses Dart. So Dart is the backbone of Flutter. You might like to learn Dart first, then shift to Flutter. That's one possibility because there are different concepts in Dart like future, await, async, streams, etc., enums, enhanced enums. So you might want to learn Dart first, but it's not compulsory. You can even learn Flutter and then continue learning Dart together. Git installation because Flutter is open source, so all your packages, all your libraries, your even the Flutter and Dart SDK gets installed via Git. So Git is very important. And the last one is your preferred IDE. So you can go to any of the IDE that you want. Flutter apps can be created with VS Code. That's the simplest one. You can use Android Studio. You can use IntelliJ. If you don't have any of them, there's a online uh, code editor as well, which is called Dartpad. If you go to dartpad.dev, you land on a editor kind of thing, and you can write an entire Flutter code here as well, and you can run it, and you will see the output on the right panel. But remember, this is a bit slow because it's on web. So yeah, you can see the output. This was one of the code I created. There's multiple samples. So for example, if you want, you can have the sunflower sample, run it, and you will get your output. I don't know what this is, but yeah, this is like a slider kind of thing. So you can, have multiple, you can even have a flame game. So you can run create a game with Flutter also. That's also possible. And this is like a sample game, I guess. It's a brick breaker game. Yeah. So you can see, and you get all the errors here itself if there are any errors. I don't know what this exactly does, but yeah, you can create a brick game as well. Oh, it works with arrow keys. So this brick game is completely developed with Flutter. You can see the code on the left hand side, and it works completely fine on web. You can also launch the same code base on Firebase to on sorry on mobile as well, and launch it as a game. So that's also completely possible. That's the beauty of Flutter with the games as well. Like you just code into Flutter, and you can run the same game on web, Android, iOS, Mac OS, Windows, Linux, etc. So it's possible. Okay, moving back. So how exactly your Flutter apps work? Before jumping into development, you should know how exactly does your Flutter app work. So on top, you write your code in that language. So Flutter framework takes that code, gives it to the C++ Flutter engine. Does anyone know what is the name of C++ Flutter engine? Okay, so till now, Flutter team was using Skia, SKIA. Recently, I guess from past two versions, they launched Impeller into stable version. So now it's Impeller. So your Dart code gets converted by C++ Flutter engine into your native code. So we will see that no matter what you write in Dart, if you are launching it on Android, it gets converted to Kotlin. If you are launching it on iOS, everything gets converted to Swift. If you are launching it on web, everything gets converted to HTML. So ultimately, it converts your code to native language, and then that native language code gets run on your hardware. I hope that's clear. If anyone has any questions here, feel free to ask. If you have questions during the talk anytime, feel free to interrupt, because this is very important to understand, and this gets asked every time in any of the Flutter development interviews. So if anyone has any questions in this, feel free to ask it. Okay, moving forward. So current trends. So Flutter was ranked at number one fastest growing skill stated by LinkedIn. So LinkedIn every year launches lists of skills that you should learn. So Flutter was number one fastest growing skill. One of the top 15 GitHub repos. So because Flutter is open source, so GitHub also launches list of top repositories, and Flutter was one of the top 15, and it is used by great companies around the world. Does anyone know which companies use Flutter? Any guesses?
RBI.
RBI doesn't use.
Oh, sorry, SBI. My bad.
Yes, SBI
Sorry.
uses Flutter with. They recently launched Yono 2.0, which is completely done on Flutter. Anyone else?
Zepto, I think.
No, Zepto doesn't use.
eBay.
eBay uses Flutter for their internal product.
Instagram.
Instagram doesn't use. Instagram is built on React. Come on, there are apps that you are using every day.
WhatsApp maybe.
No, WhatsApp. See, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook. They are developed by Facebook. React,
ByteDance uses.
ByteDance uses. Yes. Are you
Google
using ByteDance?
products.
Are you using ByteDance daily?
Oh, but
Yes,
it's
yes.
and here.
Yeah, ByteDance uses it, Alibaba uses it, Rapido doesn't use it, Dream 11 uses it,
Toyota and BMW use it for their
Toyota and BMW
apps.
uses it in their BMW uses it in their app, that color changing app of the car, and Toyota uses it in their dashboard. The car dashboard. Zomato doesn't use, Rapido doesn't use, Paytm doesn't use.
Google Apps,
Not all Google apps, but there are some. If
some
you
of
can name
them,
them,
yes.
if you can name them,
GPay, Google Maps.
YouTube maybe.
Google, uh, Google Pay, GPay is, yes, developed with Flutter. YouTube, not the customer app, but YouTube Studio, the web version of YouTube Studio is completely developed with Flutter Web. Cred uses it. Mintra doesn't use it. Come on, there are more.
Google Earth.
Google Earth is developed on Flutter Web. Yes, there's still more. There are
There's also
apps.
this notebook LM.
Notebook LLM, yes, that's also on Flutter. Spotify is not on Flutter. Amazon is not on Flutter. Burger King
Google
is not on
Classroom.
Flutter. Google Classroom is on Flutter, yes. Then, how many of you have your bank accounts in Canada Bank? Maybe no one. AI Canada, the Canada Bank's app is on Flutter. How many of you have bank accounts in HDFC? Many, right? HDFC's new app, not the old one. So if you saw your mails, HDFC was
Axis
continuously
Bank also
mailing.
uses Flutter.
Axis Bank also uses Flutter. HDFC was continuously mailing all customers to migrate to new app. So that new app is developed with Flutter. NU Bank uses
Zerodha.
Flutter. Zerodha uses Flutter. Then, how many of you have heard the name or probably used InDrive? It's a very good app, right? You can bargain for your auto rickshaws, cars, etc. InDrive is using Flutter. How many of you have
There is
heard of
also Visa.
which one?
Visa.
I haven't tried that. I don't know. Then,
Visa. The credit card.
yeah, but I haven't tried their app.
Acha.
Huh. Then there is yeah, Tencent. I was saying this. So PUBG. How many of you played PUBG or still playing? Many, right? So Tencent, the parent company of PUBG, used one module, develop one module in Flutter. So their community chat in PUBG is on Flutter. So that's also possible that entire app on is on a different technology, but a particular part is on Flutter. So that's also possible. So there are many such companies which are using Flutter. How many of you have heard of Scapia credit card? Maybe not. So Scapia is also on Flutter. Scapia is a traveler card, you can say. It gives zero forex rate, etc. Zero forex markup charges. So that's also on Flutter, and there are many such companies and products that are slowly launching on Flutter. So you might have a Flutter app in your system, and you probably wouldn't even know that. So that's completely possible. Ind Money. How many of you have used Ind Money or heard of it? Ind Money is a stockbroker. That's also on Flutter. How many of you know, do this IPO thing? Register, pay, apply for IPOs. So you might be using IPO Premium. How many of you are using that to check your GMP, Grey Market Premium? So IPO Premium is on Flutter. There are many such products that are on Flutter. So yeah, moving forward, even TCS he started hiring for Flutter. Capgemini is hiring for Flutter. So basically, big companies are also moving to Flutter. Okay. So these are some helpful resources. This is definitely the, let me provide the links. So it's like flutter.dev slash docs. It's like the documentation website. You, if you like to read, that's the best. If you don't like to read, then they have their own YouTube as well. So you can check that as well. They every week there is a playlist called Package of the Week, Widget of the Week. So every week they create short videos on a different package, different widgets, etc. So you can try that. Then if you want to get a roadmap, so I created this roadmap to learn Flutter like a pro. You can search for it on Google, and you, the first link would be mine, and you can also check out my articles. Okay, moving forward. So what exactly is Firebase now? Can anyone tell what is Firebase?
It acts as an database.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No. Anything else? I mean, you were partially correct, but not just database. So you can say that Firebase is a backend as a service, because with Firebase, there are multiple products inside Firebase. Firebase is a toolkit, you can say. So with Firebase, you can create apps, yeah, authentication, database. With database, there are two again, real time and Firestore. We have notification, then A/B testing, remote config, data connect, AI logic. So entire backend can be done with Firebase, so it's possible. Hosting, exactly. App hosting is also there now. So hosting and app hosting are two different things. Hosting would allow you to host static website for free. App hosting, with app hosting, you can host your entire dynamic websites with server code, etc. Cloud storage is also there, where you can upload files. So how many apps are built with Firebase? Any random guess? So probably some apps can use just authentication, some apps just use hosting, but how many apps are built with Firebase till now? No, I'm asking how many. I'm not asking which all, because there are lots of apps which you cannot list down. Any random guess how number of apps which are built or which uses Firebase in one or the other way?
1 million maybe.
1 million? More than that?
1.5 million.
More than that?
2 million.
More than that?
3 million.
Correct. 3 million apps, 3 million plus apps are built using Firebase. Probably some are using Firebase with Firebase is authentication provider. Some are using hosting. Some are using other tools, other services of Firebase, etc. So yeah, there are lots of apps and products in general that are using Firebase. So do you know if Firebase is open source or not? Yes or no?
It should be open
No.
source.
Someone said yes, someone said no. What about others?
No, I guess.
It's not fully open source.
That's right. So it's not fully open source. There are some extensions of Firebase that are open source. So, for example, if you want to have uh, image classification, just an example with Firebase, That's also possible, and that extension is open source. So extensions are open source, but Firebase is a proprietary product of Google, which is not open source. Now, is Firebase free or not?
It is
No.
maybe. I don't know.
For some
50-50.
parts, it is free.
Yes, some parts are free. Like if you go to authentication, email, password, anonymous, Google sign in, Apple sign in are free. However, if you want to use phone authentication, that's on the paid version, because obviously the OTP gets charged. Then app hosting is paid. Then in databases, you get up to certain limit, it's free. Then you have to pay, like that. So some of them are free, some of them are paid. So these are some of the famous apps that use Firebase in one or the other way. It might be using authentication part, it might be using hosting, it might be using distribution, etc. But these are some of the largest apps that are using Firebase.
I wanted to ask if
Mhm.
for a project we are using Fire in Firebase, we are using Firestore as a database. Like,
Database.
so
Yes.
are we gonna have to pay for that, or is that also free?
No, Firestore is completely free until a limit.
Oh, okay, fine.
Uh, yeah, but for a project, like if you're planning for a college project, it would be completely free, because it's like 1 million or 2 million reads. After that, it's paid.
Oh,
So
acha, okay.
you're not going to reach that until you write very bad code.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
Because if you wrote very bad code, and if that is, continuously reading something
yeah.
from Fire, so then it is possible that you might have to pay. But it's not like if you extended that limit, you will instantly get an invoice. It's not like that. When you go to Firebase console, by default, it's on free tier. Then, if you reach that limit,
Hmm.
no more reads or writes are possible. So you will get error on your client code,
Okay, okay.
and then you will have to upgrade your plan by providing the credit card.
Hmm.
So it's like pay as you go.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I got that. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So now let's create a small Flutter app, connect it to Firebase, and see how it goes. Probably we can just use Firebase authentication as an example, but let's see. Yeah, before that, if you have any questions, it meant that you are not listening. So we are not going to answer any questions right now. Okay, let me open my VS Code. Perfect. So if you open your VS Code and or Dartpad, I mean, I can go on Dartpad and do something, but I won't be able to connect Firebase through Dartpad. That's not possible. But if you go to dartpad.dev, you can do the basic UI coding as well if you want to do it with me. If not, completely fine. The session is recording, so you can, do it later as well. But I will go with VS Code. So if you go to VS Code, let me zoom in. And if you do Control Shift P or Command Shift P based on your operating system, and if you write Flutter, you will get an option for new project if you have done all the installations properly. To check whether you have done all the installation properly or not, you will get this new project. I will be back just in a minute. Till that time, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat. Just a second, I will be back. Okay, I'm back. So once you have done all the installations, you can write Flutter and click on new project, and you will get an option. You will get multiple options. You will have to click on application. It will ask where do you want to store it. You can store it anywhere. Name it, and then it will create a basic application for you. Before jumping directly to the application, let's see all the files and folder structures. So starting a Dart tool, this is internal folder for Dart. We don't need to worry about it. Dart idea is the internal folder for VS Code, you can say. Android folder. So as I said that all your Dart code gets converted to native code when you run. So this is the folder where you will get all your native code. So you'll get Kotlin code, you will get Java code, etc. Same way, for iOS native code, you will have to check iOS folder. For Linux native code, Linux, Mac OS native code, Mac OS, web native code inside web folder, Windows native code inside Windows folder. Now all your Dart code stays inside the lib folder. So this is our Dart code. So all your Dart code stays inside the lib folder. In starting, when you are a beginner, you don't need to worry about all the folders, any of the folders. Just worry about your lib folder and one of the main file, that is pubspec.yaml file. So this file is the configuration file of your application. So you will, if you want to add new packages, you will do it from here. If you want to add assets, you will be doing it from here. If you want to release your application, increase version, you will be doing it from here. So this is a very important file which you should understand. Okay, moving back to the folder. So this is a main.dart, and let's run it on web first. So till the time it runs, let me explain you the code. So this is basically a counter application. There would be a floating action button, and on click of that, you will the screen will update the counter value. So that's the basic application. Now there are two types of widgets. As I mentioned that in Flutter, everything is a widget. So there are two types of widget. One is stateless widget, and another is a stateful widget. So this is how our output looks like. So here's the plus button. It increments the value. Very simple project. Let's get back to our VS Code. So you can see there are two types of widget. One is stateless widget and another is a stateful widget. As the name suggests, stateless widget doesn't have a state, which means you cannot change the state of the particular widget. And another is a stateful widget where you have a state, or you can change the state of of that widget. For example, if you go to your WhatsApp has the top app bar, right? Where we have, what do we have there? We have this plus icon or this chats written on top. So that doesn't change no matter what you do. You cannot rename chats to your own name or rename chats to Panchat, right? So that's a stateless widget because it doesn't get affected by users input or user interaction. But on the other hand, the search bar that we have, the chat list, the chips, chat number, chat account, etc., all those are stateful widget because that depends on users interaction, that can change its value based on users interaction. So that's a stateful widget. So in our output, this particular thing is a stateful widget because it gets changed, the value gets changed based on users interaction. So moving forward, let's delete all the code. So once you delete all the code, you have very good clean main.dart, and the first thing is your main function. Everything runs from main function, right? the way everything runs on any of the coding language, everything runs through main function. Same way, even in Dart or in Flutter, everything runs using main function. But we have this special function called run app. So you can run your Dart code individually also. That's also possible as a backend code, etc. So how will Dart know that you are running a Flutter application? So this particular application, this particular function, run app function, is going to tell the Dart compiler that wait, this is a Flutter application and not a simple Dart application. So you need to run this particular app as a Flutter application. So we will have a stateless widget. We can name it as app and pass it over here. And then if we hot restart, so we'll see the entire thing, that counter thing went off because we have a placeholder only here. So yeah, you can see this hot reload and hot restart feature are very good. Like you can instantly check your output from here itself. The first widget should always be material app, or you can say Cupertino app or widget. So that's possible. But usually material app is used. Material app gives you or allows you to create material like UI, but it doesn't mean that you will have to create material like UI always. You can also do Cupertino, means iOS like UI, even using material app. So I just added like material app. Scaffold is your painting place, like it's your canvas where you will be painting your widgets. Center is a widget to center the child. Text to show text. So you can see hello world is visible over here. Nothing else is there. So now let's do a simple column. A column will have children. So some of the widgets will have single child like this, while some will have children. There are only few widgets which has children like column, row, list view, stack. So these are layouting widgets. Layouting widgets will always have children, while on the other hand, other widgets will usually have child. You don't need to remember all this because when you do control space or command space, you get all the suggestions like which all parameters are accepted by this widget. So you can always do that. So there's app bar. So if I give app bar, so it will create a top app bar over here. We need to give it a title, text, Flutter app. So you can see this is the app bar. You can also change the name, background color of the app bar. So let's give it as colors.rad. So you can see the red color. You can even give a leading icon, like there's a leading option. So we can give icon, or we can also give a Flutter logo. So there is an existing Flutter logo widget in Flutter. So you can see that. I guess there is Dart logo. No. Dash logo. No, only Flutter logo is there. So you can see that. Now what I was thinking of, there's a field widget called text field, which allows you to input anything. So you can see here's a text field and here's a text field. Let's give it some padding. It moves. And we can give outline input border, input decoration. So now it has a good border. Let's duplicate it and remove this one. Okay, now our both of the text fields have a pretty decent border. You can also use Cupertino text field inside a material app. So you can see this is our iOS style text field. There's also Cupertino search bar, search text field. So that's how the search field. So it looks exactly same as your Cupertino or iOS style search field. Let's give some spacing between them. Yeah. So now you can see the difference of all the three. This is a Cupertino search field. This is our Cupertino text field. This is a material text field. So you can use any of them. Let's remove this too. And let's give some hint text. It's called inside decoration. We have hint text. So you can give email here, and over here you can give password. Okay, looks good. So you can see the text over here, and we can also define its style. So instead of hint text, we can also give label text. So label text, you will see how it works. Label text basically moves your hint text above when any input is done. So we can remove hint and we can change hint text to label text. So it looks same, but when you focus on the text field, it moves the text above the text field, which looks a pretty good thing. We can also define the keyboard type. So keyboard type. So this is like a text input type because it's for email. So we can give text input type dot email, text input type dot email address. Now how this works is in your mobile, many times when you are typing something, automatically keyboard suggests your email address, right? So this is handled by this keyboard type. Same way, if I give here, we don't have keyboard type as password, text input type dot, yeah, there is visible password. So what exactly would this do is it allows you to request a keyboard with ready access to both letters and numbers. It's a password thing. But let's suppose you want to you don't want to show the password. So obscure text is responsible for that. Obscure text hides the text, whatever you type, like this. You can even define obscuring character. So instead of star, I want to have it as a dollar. So that's also possible. So whatever I type, it converts everything to dollar. So let's kind of move it back. Okay, looks good. Now, after taking all the inputs, I want to have a button. So we can have text button or elevated button. Elevated button will look like an actual button. Text button is simple text with option to, you know, action option. So yeah, this looks like a button. And it does nothing right now. Looks good. Let's move our home to a separate widget. So if you click on command dot or control dot, you get an option to extract widget, and you can convert it to, you can give it a name. So that's our home now. Now because our whatever we type here, we need to submit to this button, right? For that, we have to convert this to a stateful widget, and there is a thing called text editing controller. So we will have email controller and password controller. So when you give underscore in front of the variable, it means that this is a private variable. If you don't give underscore, it means it's a public variable. We don't have private and public keywords in Flutter. So this is how we define private and public. Same way for class names or function names, same mechanism is used. So we can pass the controller here, email controller, and password controller. Now, whatever you type, it gets stored into this controller, and then in this, you will be able to print it. So you can do like print underscore email controller dot text. So dot text allows you to extract text from that controller. So let's see. Whatever I type and click on login. But before that, because you changed the class to stateful, you need to hot restart it. So now let's run and click on login. So you can see whatever I typed, it got printed into your console. So that looks good. Now this is done. Our basic form is ready. We can connect this to Firebase and create a new project, create a new account as well, right? We can create a new user. So for that, we have this thing called Firebase CLI, but let's go to Firebase console. For that, let me find my cursor. Okay, I have my cursor. So if you go to console.firebase.google.com, it will land you to the Firebase console. Let me paste that link. There is a Firebase console. You can create a new project from here. Enter your project name. Anything works. Authentication looks good. And you can even edit the unique identifier. Like authentication cannot be the project name because I would name authentication. You will also name authentication. So we usually give a identifier. You can change this. I'm fine. Continue. We don't need Gemini. Continue. We don't need Google Analytics. Continue. And it will create a project for you. It might take some time to create a project, but once done, you will also get options or instructions on how to add your project to Firebase from here itself. Okay, that is done. Now, once your project is created, you will see here Spark plan. This is a free version, no cost, and here's the Blaze plan. So if you want to move your project to a paid version, you can select this plan, and then you will have to create a billing account and add your credit card details. So once you click on add app, you can see Flutter as an option. Let me zoom in. So you can see Flutter as an option. Once you click on that, you have to install Firebase CLI and Flutter SDK. Flutter SDK already installed because you created the Flutter app. You will have to install Firebase CLI. If you go on this, it's a simple command for Mac OS, for example. You can download it from here. And for Windows, yeah, it started to download. Cancel. For Windows, also you can download from here and then install it. Once that's done, all this looks good. We are done with this. Then you have to enable Flutterfire CLI. I already have it enabled. You just need to copy this and run in your terminal. Once that is done, at the root of your Flutter project directory, you need to run this. So let's do that. Okay, so it showed that Firebase project ID could not be found because I'm on a different Firebase account. So if I do, like I was working on my company's Firebase account, so I will do Firebase logout. So it will log me out from the current one. Then I will again do Firebase login. No, I don't want you to take my data. And select the Google account that I used to create the Firebase project. Once that is done, you are successfully logged in. Now you can run that old command again, Flutterfire thing. So now it fetches available Firebase projects. It will ask for which all apps you want to configure: Android, iOS, macOS, web, or Windows. So I would just do web. Done. So it has registered Firebase app now, which means we can close this. And so this automatically registers your per platform apps with Firebase and adds this Firebase options file. Let's see. Yes, we have it. Now this has headers because we haven't imported the Firebase project files, Firebase packages. So what you can do is if you do Command Shift P again and search for add dependencies, you will find this Dart or PubSpec. You can paste Firebase underscore core and it will import or add to your pubspec.yaml file. So you can see here. It automatically fetched the latest version and it added to your pubspec.yaml file, and now the errors are gone. Now we can delete this test folder. We are going to do authentication, right? So let me also add Firebase underscore auth. Now where exactly are these all packages listed? So if you go to pub.dev, that's the website where all the Firebase Flutter related packages are listed. So if you search Firebase underscore auth, you will get the package. You don't need to remember the name. If you just search Firebase auth, you will still get the package. So that's fine. Now Firebase core is the package required for using any of the Firebase products, no matter whatever you use, authentication or notification, etc. You will have to import Firebase core no matter what, and then based on which uh, product you want to use, you can import that particular package. So this is done. Now let's initialize it. Initialize Firebase app. Now this needs to be done in your main function before run app. So you need to do this. Let's import it async, and that's it. Now because you added some packages, you will have to run your project again, and we are going to do that again on our web because web is the fastest in Flutter. If you go to current platform, you can see all the informations automatically. Yeah, our app is loaded. So you can see all the, by default for other platforms it throws error. For web, it automatically fetches API key, app ID, and everything from the project itself. So you don't have to, add them manually. Now, once we have our project, let me open Firebase console again and continue to console and refresh the page. You will get one app here. This is your web app that you created. Now go to build authentication, get started, and sign in method. So there are multiple sign in methods provided by Firebase: email, password, phone, anonymous, Google, Game Center, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, Twitter, Play Games, GitHub, Yahoo, and your custom authentication providers also, which means all this can be integrated with your Flutter application using Firebase. Some are paid, some are free. Phone is paid, customer paid, MFA is paid. MFA means that by default there will be one native provider, probably Google, email, etc. And then the user will compulsory have to also input phone number, get OTP, and confirm OTP. That's MFA. So we'll just select email password, enable it, save. That's it. Done. And then let's move back to our VS Code. So we did that. Now what we have to do is, let's have two buttons in a row. One for login and one for register. So once you click on register, Firebase auth dot instance dot create user with email and password. You can await here. Now, what is await and async? So not always a function will return you success or failure instantly, right? So await is that we are going to wait for the completion of the function and then do some other tasks. So we add here underscore email controller dot text underscore password controller dot text. Now before sending it, what we want to do is if email controller dot text dot is empty, we want to show a messenger, or you can say scaffold messenger, a snack bar. Email cannot be empty. Same way, if underscore password is empty, then also we want to show, and we want to return because we don't want to execute the function. Looks good. Now back to our output. So you can see I haven't added anything, and if I click on register, it shows email cannot be empty. Same way, login, we haven't added anything here. So it shows email cannot be empty. And then for password, it shows password cannot be empty. So it looks good. You can further add validation for if it's a valid email or not using regex, but we won't do it right now. So I'm going to add any email and a password. Now, this returns you a user credential. If it gets successfully done, you get the user. If not, you get an error. So we should catch that error. I'm going to wrap this into a try catch, and try everywhere needs a catch. And I am going to, whatever is the message, I'm going to show it. Simple. Now what I'm going to do is I added password is 123. Now this is not a good password, right? If I register, it throws me password should be at least 6 characters. Now if I give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it will still throw error. Maybe. Okay, it successfully did register. So whether it registered or not, we can go to our Firebase console, go to users. Yeah, you can see the user was successfully registered. Now what we can do is if the user is successfully registered, we can show a message again. Let's go back to our Firebase console and delete that particular user. So from here, you can delete a user, disable account, even reset password. Let's just delete. Done. Now back to our VS Code. Let's do the same thing for our login function also. Let's copy it, paste it, async. But instead of create user, we'll have to call sign in with email and password and pass the email and password. And here we would just to log in. Looks good. Let's hot restart. Not really required, but I'm okay. Let's move back to our output. No thanks. abc@gmail.com. You saw that it automatically filled out the password, so that is supported by default with Flutter. Click on register and it says register. Now what would happen if I again click on register? So it throws an error that the email the email address is already in use. See, so you cannot register the same user again and again. So it will log in now. So login success. Now if I provide wrong password and click on login, it throws invalid credential. The supplied auth credential is incorrect, malformed, or expired. So yeah, this is how you can connect a Flutter project with your Firebase account, Flutter app with your Firebase, and do the authentication. So you can see the authentication was just for 132 lines. Now this includes your UI plus your authentication. If you see simply, the authentication is just this much. Right. Other thing is like just showing off success messages. So creating user this much, signing in this much. Now if you want to do Google authentication, we have method for that too. So we can do await firebase auth dot instance dot sign in with Google, sign in with email link, or sign in with phone number. For Google, we need to use Google underscore auth package and then pass that Google authentication credentials to this method, sign in with credential. That's how it works. So all functionalities by default has a function in Firebase SDK with Flutter. So you can always, just use a function for doing any of the required things. Okay, I guess that was it. Now, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I can answer them. Any questions related to Flutter or Firebase or in general career related questions or work related, etc.
I had a question like, how does generally Firebase handle authorization? Is it simple auth or OAuth or like?
So it uses OAuth, and for password, it uses RSA to encrypt it and then
Oh,
store it.
okay. So okay, fine. It hashes it, right?
Yes, and even for example, if you are the project owner, even you cannot see the password. So if I go back to my Firebase console,
Yeah.
there's no way I can see any user's password.
Hmm. Yeah.
See, if I go back to authentication, I get user ID, I get email with which provider they signed in. Even if I click reset password, it will send the reset email to this particular user. So user will
Okay.
only have to reset the password.
Oh, okay. Fine, fine, got that.
Yeah,
All right.
and this is the like the default one. You can edit this.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Anyone else has any questions?
Have you any experience with React?
I haven't really used React that much, like in just one project.
But means which will you more prefer, React or Flutter? Because it's the most controversial question in the industry, I guess.
Yeah. So what I usually suggest, if you are from web development background, like you have spent years working on web, probably 1 year, 2 year, and then if you have to switch from native web to something, then go with React because React uses web JS and everything. So
Yeah.
for that person, React will have best learning curve. But if you are from a app development background, like native Android, native iOS, or C++ Java person, then go with Flutter. That's my suggestion.
Okay, but I guess the disadvantage of Flutter is that it creates so many unnecessary lines and brackets.
Yeah,
Means
that's right.
that's my observation.
Yeah, but it's like that's what class-based language usually does, right? If you go to Java, in that also there are so many brackets and everything. Function names are very big.
Yeah,
So that's what the thing is. Like if you're already from a class-based language, then Flutter is very easy for you.
means I recently started using both React and Flutter. Then, what will you suggest for a beginner who don't have any experience in any of both them?
Then I would suggest Flutter. The
Uh,
reason is the reason is if you have learned Flutter, for example, And then in future, if you want to switch back to native, it would be very easy, because native, see, all the native languages like Android, iOS, native iOS, then Swift UI, all of them uses class based language. So in future, if you want to switch, or if you have requirement from to move from cross platform to native, then from Flutter it would be very easy for you.
Okay. And one more doubt, that the Dart language used in Flutter is
Hmm.
specifically used in Flutter only, not in any other platform, I guess.
You can. So there, before Flutter, there was one Google's product called Angular Dart. So in that, front end was written with Angular, and back end was written with Dart. You
Okay.
can even use Dart as a standalone backend language also. So you can create an entire backend with Dart. That's also possible.
And one personal question: can I contact you after the session, like for the project related, hackathon related
Yeah,
doubts?
sure. You can connect with me on LinkedIn.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is my social handles. Like everywhere, it's Abhishek Doshi 26, or you can go to abhishekdoshi.dev and you will get all the socials. And that's my company website, thezeth.com. Still, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. If you don't want to ask right now, completely fine. You can drop me a message on LinkedIn or Instagram. Instagram also has same handle, Abhishek Doshi 26. Okay, I guess that's it. Khatam.
Yes, sir. So let me give the outro
Yeah, let
session and
me
then.
stop sharing.
Okay. So, as we come to the end of this workshop, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. Abhishek Doshi, sir, for taking the time to share his expertise and for conducting such an engaging, informative session.
Thank you.
Feedback form will be provided to you all on mail, so fill that. And big thank you to you all participants for the active involvement and enthusiasm, and to the organizing team. Yes, so thank you everyone. And as he mentioned, you can text him on LinkedIn or connect him there. He has over 10,000 followers, so please connect with him too.
Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.